Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Yasodanandana Vijana Ranjana. Yasodanandana Vijana Ranjana. Yamunatira Vanachari. Yamunatira Vanachari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parvijakacharya Asta Tadasar Sri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parvijakacharya Asta Tadasar Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. And all glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Can manage this. So today are doing Canto 3, Chapter 16, and Text 22. Is it on the board? 22? Yeah, good. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we'll start writing with the verse because there's not that much time left. Just one moment, please. I did have something else here. Dharmasya te bhagavatas triyuga tribi svaya. Dharmasya te bhagavatas triyuga tribi svaya. Padbish, my glasses aren't here. Padbish charanam plam dvija. Would somebody else like to read this? Because I don't have my glasses with me. So. Thank you.
Satvena no varadaya tanuva nirasya.
God, you can do it 2 more times, please.
Dharmasya te bhagavatas triyuga trivisvai. Padvischara charamidam dviyadevatartam. Nunamritam tadavigati rayastamascha. Satvena no varadaya tanuva nirasya. Somebody else?
One more. Yeah.
One more?
Yeah.
Dharmasya te bhagavatas triyuga trivisvai. Padvischara charamidam dviyadevatartam. Nunamritam tadavigati rajastamascha. Satvena no varadaya tanuva nirasya.
Thank you. Sadhena no varadaya namutani yasta.
Would these reading glasses help?
I'll try. Let's. Not much. No, I can do it. Thank you anyway. The ladies, please, go ahead. I need magnifiers. It's making blurred thing. You can see it. Nunam vritam tad abhigati vajasamascha. Dharmasya, of the personification of all religion. Te, of you. Bhagavata, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Triyuga, you who are manifest, in all three millenniums. Tribi, by three. Svai, your own. Padbi, feet. Shara, acharam. Animate and inanimate. Idam, this universe. Dvija, the twice born. Devata, the demigods. Artham, for the sake of. Nunam, however. Vritam, protected. Tat, should be tat tamaha. It's connected to the next word. Tat tamaha, the mode of ignorance. Am I in the right line? I don't hear anybody here. Huh?
The word is tut, those feet.
Tut. Anyway, tut. Yeah. Those feet. Sorry. Abhagati, destroying. Raja, the mode of passion. Tamaha, the mode of ignorance. Cha, and Sadvena, of pure goodness. Naha, unto us. Vara, daya, bestowing all blessings. Tanuva, by your transcendental form. Narasya, driving away. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Okay? Translation. O Lord, you are the personification of all religion. Therefore, you manifest yourself in 3 millenniums, and thus you protect. Sorry. And thus you protect this universe, which consists of animate and inanimate beings. By your grace, which is of pure goodness, and is the bestower of all blessings, kindly drive away the elements of rajas and tamas for the sake of the demigods and twice born. So rajas means passion, and tamas means ignorance. So what we have here is the 4 Kumaras are speaking now, and they're asking for a blessing, and this is the blessing that they're asking for. Yes. So now we go to the purport. The Lord is addressed in this universe as Triyuga, or one who appears in 3 millenniums, namely the Satya, Dvapara, and Treta Yugas. So before I go any further, it should be understood that the word millennium, which normally in the English language means 1,000, does not mean 1,000 in this. What it means is it's a period of time in the Vedic calendar. And each of these, which I mentioned, Satya, Treta, Dvapara, each of them have their own time span, and they have their own name, as I've already mentioned. For example, in the Satya Yuga, which is the first when the world is being created, it lasts 1,728,000 years. That's Satya Yuga. And then, and it's characterized by its goodness, by its religiosity, by its kindness. But as time goes on, goodness begins to grow weak, and that weakness begins to manifest as what we might call unpleasant or unsavory characteristics. So next we have the Treta Yuga, which is 12,000, excuse me, it's 1,296 years. Did I miss? I have it down as 1296.
Yeah, in other words, 1.296 million, which is 1 million.
Okay, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry about that. So it's 1 million in the Treta Yuga, it's 1,296,000 years. And then we go to the Dvapara Yuga, which is 864,000 years. And then Kali Yuga, which we are now in, I believe we're about 5,000 years in, is that correct? Okay. And Kali Yuga is the age of darkness, the age of ignorance, the age in which people harm each other without any feeling or idea or thought of conscience. We have a lot of that going on now. It seems like Kali Yuga is really speeding up with all the molestations and mass killings which are going on in so many times and in so many weeks following one another. So many people are being shot or killed or stabbed, knifed, and this is Kali Yuga. Because in Kali Yuga, if a person harms somebody, he doesn't feel any sting of conscience. But in Satya Yuga, he doesn't even want to say a word which might insult that person. So different are the degrees of consciousness in those two different ages. So I'll just move on. So he is not mentioned as aspiring in, I'll take it from the beginning because the Lord is addressed in this verse as Triyuga, or one who appears in 3 millenniums. Again, millennium does not mean 1,000 years. It means the number of years I just mentioned for each of these particular periods, namely the Satya, Dvapara, and Treta Yugas. He is not mentioned as appearing in the 4th millennium, or Kali Yuga. It is described in Vedic literature that in Kali Yuga, he comes as Chana avatar, or an incarnation. But he does not appear as a manifest incarnation. A manifest incarnation we can see. If anyone here was an incarnation, we could see you now because you're manifest. We can see you with the eyes, and we can hear you with the ears, and we can also interact with you as well. So it is described in Vedic literature that in Kali Yuga, as I said, he comes as Chana avatar, or an incarnation. But he does not appear as a manifest incarnation. They don't see him. We do have some incarnations where we do see. Krishna is a very good example of that. Of course, did Krishna dip into the Kali Yuga? Or is he in the Yuga before that?
Kali Yuga began when Krishna left.
Huh? It came after Krishna, when Krishna left. Okay. Yeah. So moving on. He comes as Chana avatar, or an incarnation, but he does not appear as a manifest incarnation. In the other yugas, however, the Lord is a manifest incarnation, and therefore he is addressed as Tri Yuga. There are 3 names for him, or the Lord who appears in 3 yugas, 3 periods. Sridhar Swami describes Tri Yuga as follows. Sridhar Swami is a very famous and well-known and very great scholar in Vedic literature. So, Sridhar Swami describes Tri Yuga as follows. Yuga means couple, and Tri means 3. The Lord is manifested as 3 couples by his 6 opulences, or 3 couples of opulences. In that way, he can be addressed as Tri Yuga. So let's just go over those opulences. Okay. Let's do the 6 opulence. First one, please. Beauty. Next.
Fame.
Huh?
Fame.
Fame. Next. Yes, next. Strength. Yes. One more. One. Pardon? What did you say? Renunciation. Yes. I think there's one more. What is that? Knowledge. Yes, thank you. So those are the 6 perfections that the Lord has. But these perfections are in completeness. They are not partial. And completeness means that you can't get better, you can't get higher, you can't get more complete. He has that manifestation, and he can exert it to the maximum or the minimum, whatever it is. And that's why it's called complete in that respect. Yeah. The Lord is the personality of religious principles in 3 millenniums. Now, in 3 millenniums, religious principles are protected, The Lord is the personality of religious principles. In 3 millenniums, religious principles are protected by 3 kinds of spiritual culture, namely austerity, cleanliness, and mercy. The Lord is called Tri Yuga in that way also. In the age of Kali, these 3 requisites to spiritual culture are almost absent. But the Lord is so kind that in spite of Kali Yugas being devoid of these 3 spiritual qualities, he comes and protects the people of this age in his covered incarnation as, come on, you all know this, Lord Chaitanya. Yeah, why is he called covered? Well, he's the Supreme Lord, but he's not acting as the Supreme Lord, generally. He's acting as a devotee of the Lord. And he's giving us the example of how to become a good or a better or a great or wonderful devotee. He gives us, and we can find out where we are in that different degrees. So the Lord shows himself as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he shows himself as the supreme devotee. And he manifests numerous expressions of that devotion. Blissfulness, peacefulness, kindness. Many different expressions come from Lord Chaitanya. He also dances very, very vivaciously. He also, he claps, he shouts, he screams, he sings. This is bhakti yoga carried to the maximum degree. So sometimes I see devotees here getting into that kind of a thing. But always beware of trying to copy someone like Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and think that because you can appear that way, that you are that way. We can fall into a very unfortunate trap, thinking that I'm very advanced because I can do this. That's not the way it is with Lord Chaitanya or any great devotee. That's the way they are. That's their manifestation. Just as I'm speaking a certain way, similarly, that's the way they manifest. Those symptoms show themselves, and we read about them very excitedly in the Srimad Bhagavatam and the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Sometimes the devotees become so uplifted, so excited, so pronouncedly that they start clapping and clapping loud, or they start crying out, Haribol, Haribol. We hear this even right on the street here. That's not just to put on a show. It's because a person feels something very dynamic within his heart, and that something is coming up and it's coming out, like air comes out of your nostrils as a result of the need to breathe. So the need for a devotee to breathe is that he has to say Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That's the real breathing. That's the real life. A person who is not associating himself with the Supreme Lord's name, which is not different from himself, and not understanding. He should have an understanding that this is not just another sound. This is God in form of sound. So when we chant it and we understand that, the result is that I'm associating with Krishna. He's giving me the opportunity to say His name, to shout His name. Look at all the people all over the world. They don't even know His name, what to speak of saying His name. So we should count ourselves very blessed as a result of being given the opportunity, first of all, to know what God's name is, and two, to be encouraged, to be inspired, to be enthused, to chant His name and to transmit it or transfer it to other people who don't know that name. And there are many ways to do this, both humorous and serious. I know when I used to go out a lot, I would always tell some kind of a humorous remark to get a conversation going. And then from then on, it was very, very easy. Especially some of the ladies, I would go past them. Somebody told me that you were the most beautiful woman on this parking lot. Would you agree with me? And they used to burst into laughter. Who told you that? I don't know, maybe it was your husband. So the point of it is that they call it breaking the ice or getting a conversation going. And once a conversation is going in a very easygoing way, it's very easy to really talk about this philosophy. It becomes very difficult if you can't get at one-ment or attuned to that person's mental makeup. If the person is trying to push away or get away because he doesn't feel a sense of association with you, then what happens is that it becomes difficult to actually get forward. So there's a thing every devotee should talk to some of the more senior devotees and find out from them exactly how they're able to start a conversation which is very casual and very easygoing, so that a person will feel at home with you and feel that you're like a friend. That's the best and the greatest thing in any kind of selling, is to immediately establish a sense of friendship, a sense of association, that you know that person from even a long time ago. Let me continue. The Lord is called Triyuga in that. But you have, what is the?
Lord Chaitanya is called covered. That's where you start. Lord Chaitanya is called covered.
Covered. Thank you. Yeah. I have it. He comes and protects the people of this age in this covered incarnation as Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya is called covered because although he is Krishna himself, he presents himself as a devotee of Krishna, not directly Krishna. Directly Krishna, there was a time, he did that one time. He did present himself directly. And it's on one of the audio books that I have, and it's very well known, I think it's in the Chaitanya Bhagavat, in which Lord Chaitanya manifests himself as Lord Krishna. He sits up on the Vyasasan that was Srivas Thakur's, and things start changing. He begins to look different. He expresses himself differently. Light starts coming out of his head and all over the place. He sings in a beautiful manner, and he begins calling all of his devotees up to him. They're just amazed because they've never seen him in this ecstatic state. All they've ever seen him in is this straight philosophical state. But now he's crying tears of ecstasy. His hands are shaking. His knees are shaking. At times, he even falls to the ground because he cannot hold himself upright. I don't know if anybody else has had that experience, but when your knees won't hold up, sometimes you just fall. But this is coming from the heart. It's coming from Krishna there, which is himself, by the way, and he's sending these vibrations of joy and love and ecstasy throughout his whole body. His hair is standing on end. His hands are shaking. He starts singing, or he starts shouting. All of these are symptoms of different levels or different kinds of ecstasy. I say different levels. For example, a person on a not so high level might have a few little teardrops in the corner of the eyes. A person on a much higher level, more filled with the excruciating sense of love of Krishna, then rivers of tears, so to speak, start coming out of the eyes and all over. In fact, Lord Chaitanya would cry tears so strong that anyone who was near him would get squirted. And they would get, the clothes would get a little bit wet as a result of those tears which would come out. That's how much love for Krishna he was expressing. And he was showing us by examples. And the main point that we learn, of course, from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is that we have to surrender. This is how Krishna gives us his grace. He gives us his kindness, his sweetness. Even if we don't deserve it, he gives it because we're making a steadfast, trying effort to become more and more devotional in makeup, in manifestation. So Krishna is very helpful. And Lord Chaitanya was very helpful, very forgiving, and many wonderful qualities. And so we ourselves reading this should not just try to read for the sake of just getting it done. I've known many people, they like to read fast and feel that they've finished the book, as if that was some kind of an accomplishment. What did you get out of this book? What did it tell you? How did it change you? How does your transformation impact others and change them? I mean, these are the things we need to be considering, not merely getting it finished, which doesn't really mean anything unless there's something comes out of it. Okay, Archana, you can give me the next. Where did I leave off? Thank you very much. Is that before he presents himself as a devotee of Krishna? Huh?
The last thing you read was not directly Krishna. Then the next sentence you start. The Holy Spirit is the Lord Jesus.
Okay, that's where it should start. Sorry to keep everybody waiting, but I didn't put a place marker there. Let's talk about Krishna. Okay, I'll just take it from here. If I go over anything, again, My apologies. He is Krishna. Lord Chaitanya is Krishna himself. He presents himself as a devotee of Krishna, not directly Krishna. The devotees pray to Lord Chaitanya, therefore, to eliminate their stock of passion and ignorance. Because if you're full of passion, with anger, hatred, jealousy, greed, envy, you can't accomplish anything spiritually, because there's always a feeling of difference instead of unity between your heart and someone else's heart. But when there's a feeling of unity, you want to do things for that person. You want to help that person. You want to enable that person. And that makes friendship. Wanting to do things and not even worried if you're going to get something back. And if you don't get something back, you don't complain to your best friend and say, you know, I gave him this, I gave her that, and she never said even thank you. This is not devotional service, that manner. If the person didn't say thank you, be glad. You were so terrible, you made so many offenses, you made so many mistakes. It's good you're getting a little punishment, indifference, apathy, non-consideration. So that's the punishment, and be thankful. In other words, we don't have to say, everything I do, I want to be praised for, I want to be honored for, I want to be applauded for, I want to be glorified for. That's not the purpose of devotional service. The purpose of devotional service is, of course, to, as I mentioned before, to cleanse the heart. And the heart becomes cleansed the more it gives of itself to others, to enable them to become Krishna conscious. And if we do that, if we enable them to become Krishna conscious, then what happens is their lives become happier. Otherwise, their lives are mournful, or sorrowful, or thoughtless, indifferent. We receive this all over. You walk out on Venice Boulevard, you say, generally, it's just my nature to say, good morning, or hello, how are you? Or say, have a great day. And some people, they'll just say, oh, you too, hope you, nice of you to say that. And another person, I'd say, have a wonderful day, and looks at me as if I threw a stone at him. Yeah, unfortunately. But the point is this, is as devotees, our only interest is to bring Krishna awake in the hearts of all these people. They all have Krishna, but he's, so to speak, sleeping because of being involved in so many useless, worthless, and harmful activities. And once a person begins to feel what Prabhupada refers to as a higher taste you mean you start to feel that ecstasy flowing through the heart, flowing through the hands, flowing through the top of the head. You begin to feel it. And when you feel it, it's very, very joyful. It fills one with happiness. And therefore, one wants to less and less do things which are harmful, hurtful, bad, evil to somebody else. That comes as a result of wanting to be above someone, bigger, higher, greater. I speak better, I do this better, I ride a bike better, my car is better. It's always in this idea or this mood that I'm the best. The only best there should be for a devotee is Krishna is the greatest, and all those servants of his who are so much remarkably like him are great. And that's it. Our desire should not be to be great, but to do great things for the pleasure of Krishna. You got that? To do great things for the pleasure of Krishna. Prabhupada was not opposed to devotees doing very well, especially in book distribution. Some devotees, even now, they're selling huge amounts of sets of books nowadays. How does that come? By the grace of Krishna. And a devotee who is smart enough to realize he's not such a great book distributor, but that Krishna, working through him, is the greatest of book distributors, then he's very happy, very gladdened, and very eager to share these secrets with other people who may not know them. So I think I want to finish the reading, because otherwise we might have to go on to it, and then we'll. I'm going to go to the sentence. It starts, the four Kumaras were cognizant of their situation in the modes of passion and ignorance. Because although in Vaikuntha they wanted to curse devotees of the Lord, since they were conscious of their own weakness, they prayed to the Lord does that say? Yeah, mine says to remove their still existing passion and ignorance. So that's also a big lesson for us to learn, even if I don't finish it, is that when we make mistakes, when we do wrongs, we can either just gloss over them and forget about them and then just do them over and over and over again. And many of us do that. But those devotees who pray to the Lord and beg the Lord, look, I offended you, I offended your devotee, and I'm still this way. I need your help. I need your guidance. I need your direction. Please enable me, help me. And when the Lord hears a humble petition in that manner, He gives it to us. And we begin to feel stronger and more able, more capable. And when we feel that, we do those wrong things less and less and less, because we do more right things more and more and more. Are there any, I'll take just a few minutes for if there are any comments or questions that you'd like to make. Yes, sir. Sajitanoy Prabhu. Thank you. A comment or question? Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you very much. It's nice to hear from you.
Thank you.
One comment, Maharaj, is that we appreciate very much the enthusiasm of a devotee trying to present Krishna consciousness. So in meeting, like you mentioned, in meeting person, in making a conversation, sometimes, I tell you by experience and some other devotees, like when we're in Sankirtan especially, if you meet a woman, we try to avoid not to say the most beautiful, because it might lead to a misunderstanding. Just as a kind of like a advice to devotees, especially, new brahmacharis.
Was that in reference to the point that I made to the woman? You look like the most beautiful. That's done in a joking mood, by the way, not in a serious mood.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
So I understand, with all respect. But I'm just saying that it can be misunderstood by the other person, maybe not from the devotee part, and then it can lead into something different. So
Thank you.
I can say just nice, kind. We're meeting the nice persons, the kind person, the smiling person, the happy people. Just that. That was the only.
Okay. Anyone else have any comments or questions? Yeah. Go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Maharaj. So you're describing this class about some of these really high symptoms of bhakti. And one thing that I'm wondering is...
What did you say, symptoms of what?
These high-level symptoms of these high ecstasies.
Yeah, okay.
And so what I'm wondering is, when we're trying to practice Krishna consciousness throughout our day, should we be trying to put a certain mood and a certain feeling into what we're doing, or do those things come automatically by just being normal?
The mood and feeling should be one-fold. My Lord, I offer this to you in love. I ask nothing more to you than to enable me to keep offering this love to you. That is enough, because I'm so joyful just giving this to you. That's all. And all the rest will come, the ecstasies and the shaking of the hands, crying of the eyes, persons may start running. These are all different symptoms of divine or spiritual ecstasy. But that's not what we're striving for. Those things come as just a part of the action. What we're striving for is to please Krishna in every way possible. And by pleasing him means to do whatever we're doing better and better and better, so that he will be pleased and he will bless us more, and we will be able to do better service. That's the main thing. Okay.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Right. Anyone else? Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
I really, well, thank you very much for the class and just for you sharing your.
Can you talk a little louder or
sorry.
closer?
Thank you very much for the class and sharing your realizations. I really like the point where we were talking about like the friendship with others when we're trying to share Krishna with others. It's like the emphasis being on the friendship, and then that being the unity. And so I was wondering if you could maybe elaborate on how we can feel and establish that unity with anyone and everyone that we're meeting.
Yeah, it's a nice question, Prabhu. We can feel this unity with others when we become better and better, or higher and higher in our love for Krishna. When you feel oneness, Krishna is with everyone. He feels oneness with everyone because he is with everyone. He's in everyone's heart. So when we begin to feel closer and closer to Krishna, that is a feeling. One feels not only close to Krishna, but one feels close to just everyone he sees. Why? Simply because that is our original position, that we are connected all together through lines of devotional love. But as a result of separateness, of envy, greed, hatred, those higher feelings are kept down, and only the lower ones manifest. So the whole point is to manifest these higher feelings by doing higher things. And higher things are devotional service things. And so many of the activities going on in this room, like what we're doing even right now, is for the purpose of enabling us to express and develop our love for the Lord and love for devotees more and more. So all these things which have symptoms, they develop as a result of practice over a period of time, and being very patient with ourselves and not being too demanding, and yet at the same time trying. Okay. Yeah?
Thank you very
Anyone
much.
else? No? Okay, thank you all very much. It's a pleasure sharing this with you, and I hope you all have a great, glorious, wonderful Krishna conscious day.